Yeah, assalamu alaikum. How are you, ladies? How beautiful. I hope you're fine. Whew. I'm so excited to do this morning. Yes, I think it's overdue. This story in life, to be done in life, is overdue. So I just decided to come on live here this morning. I know most of you is weekend, right? It's Saturday, and you're like just getting things in the house ready, or some of you are going for Owambe in Nigeria if you're in Nigeria, right? So I really want to share this, my story, and how I dumped a 50,000 words manuscript. Yes, I did that. And looking back, I can't believe that I did that myself too. Oh, thinking about it now, it's just like, subhanallah, I cannot imagine. So if you're watching this, my name is Rahima Odushote. I'm your book coach. So yeah, thank you for joining me, Khadija. Thank you for having you here. It's an honor because I know Saturday could be so crazy. So I'm going to be here, yes. So if you're watching this, if you're watching the replay, just put hashtag replay so that I know you've watched it. And if you're here live, just tag live and let me see in the comment section. So this is going to be beautiful. Yeah, it's a story, right? And we all love story. So yes, I'm going to start this. Yes, I'm a book coach. And most of you here that you've not seen me live, that you've not joined me live. Yes, my name is Rohima, as I said. Yes, I wasn't always a book coach. No. And thinking back now, if someone had told me that I'll be a book coach, I was like, what is that? Right? However, I might think, okay, yeah, I love books, right? I love reading, writing. So yeah, it's possible, right? But I wouldn't like think, oh, will I make it a profession to be teaching people, right? And enjoy it? No, I wouldn't have think that. So now let's start. Let's backtrack to 2016. Yes, 2016, I was still a full-time worker. I was still an employee at an oil and gas company that I worked for. And 2016, I think that's when the the unfolding of myself started. Yes, my true self. Yes, that's when I think the reawakening of my true self. That's when it started. Because all this while, I think I've been living the life that I thought I wanted, but no. First, okay, let me take you a little back to my university days. Yes, I studied civil engineering, as some of you will have known in my stories. I studied civil engineering, and I came out with a degree. Yes, all my intention was that I was going to work in a firm, in a consulting firm, right? So I'm there designing all these buildings, the beams, the columns, and I'm just going to be on site to get them to set up the initial set, right? I'm not going to be like on-site engineer. No, I don't want that, right? That was all my thoughts. However, it turned out not to go the way I thought, now. And I did do my best. I went to places like one that is called Etiaro. I don't know if they're still in existence now. Is a consulting firm. So I went there. It was in Ibadan. I was living in Lagos. I went there without knowing anybody. That should show that I was serious, right? So I went there. And they told me that I needed to have my master's. I say master's. Oh my God. That is one thing I didn't plan on doing, because I had nightmares over my project, my university project. I vowed that I'm not going to do something like this again. So that was how that one went. Okay, you want masters? No, I'm not ready for that. I'm not even thinking about that. Thank you for joining me, Kafilat. You're welcome. So after that, I now started working, after university, I started working in an accounting firm, chartered accounting firm, and as a computer operator. Then that was 2000, yes, 2000. And computer learning and everything just started, and people were not really into it yet as we are now in Nigeria. So I went during my service, I did a course on computer, how to operate it and everything. So that was what I started using. And we still with this thing in my mind that I'm still going to get work in a consulting firm, right? And leave this one I'm presently doing now. But it didn't happen that way. Your dream and your stuff, and Allah has way with things. You dream, yeah, it doesn't go that way. So fast forward. Eventually, I dumped civil engineering because it wasn't taking me anywhere. I went to another company, construction company. I was a site engineer. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. We were fired. I said, okay, it's even better. So I now continue. Then it got to a point I needed to make a decision because I couldn't be in a limbo and not do anything, right? That's when I now decided, because at that point in time, as a computer operator in that accounting firm, I was going out with them for audit, internal audit, for tax auditing, all those stuffs. And I was kind of enjoying it, right? So I thought this is this is another way where I can come in, right? So I jumped onto the professional examination. Here in Nigeria, it's called the Chartered Institute of Accountants. That's ICANN, the Institute Chartered of Accountants of Nigeria. So I jumped onto that, not thinking, I thought about it, but I think I didn't go deeper enough, and by asking myself, if this is what I really want, right? Well, I started the examination, and that's one examination I will tell you that I would never go back again and do. No. It was such stress. It was stressful, I will tell you that. Alhamdulillah, I got chartered in 2011, yes. And I did my convocation, is it convocation they call it now? I can't remember. And I got it November 2011. Oh my God. When I got the news that I passed the final papers, oh my goodness. You see how I jumped up. So that was done. That done, right? Then I went on. I left the the firm I was working from, right? The chartered accountant firm I was working from. Now got another place in the oil company that I left, right? So we are now back to 2016. Yes. So 2016, I now decided, I wrote in my junior high school with a friend. We wrote a book about adventure. So I knew that I had that, right? I knew that I had that skill. I had that gift. So it not dawned on me that I can write a book, right? A fiction book, right? To start with. So that's when I joined this online program. It's called Self-Publishing School. By, what is the name now? His name is Chandler Bolt. Yeah, that's his name. So I joined it, and I started. The program is online. Is teach yourself, or you go by through it yourself, self-taught courses. I started, and I was offered a coaching slot. However, I'm like, oh my God, that money was too much. I was working, I could afford it, right? But now when you have that mindset that you can do everything, right? That there's some way you can get it done on your own. You convince yourself. Yes, that's what I did. I rejected the coaching offer for help with my book so that I can get it out as fast as possible. And that was the this thing was, I think, 30 days I was supposed to use, but I know I wouldn't be able to get 30 days, but I started anyway. So I was going and going. I remember that when you want to start doing something, right, you need someone that has been there, done that, to hold your hand along the way and really get it done, right? Fine. But I didn't do that. I just started writing. Just jumped into it, right? Okay, I have my protagonist. I know my characters. I know I want to happen, you know. I wrote and I wrote. And how did I write? I wrote in a notebook. Yes, I wrote in a book because it was faster for me. I wasn't thinking about anything else. I just started. So I wrote and wrote and wrote until I'm done with the notebook. And I think I'm done with the story. And you know what thing? So after everything, I just kind of, okay, I'm done writing, right? Now, how do I get it edited, right? That's a big question. I need to transfer that's the writing onto my laptop, and that was another Herculean task. Yes, that I faced, and I learned my lesson that next time I'm going to write a book, I'm going to write it in directly on the laptop. I'm going to start with a laptop. I'm not going to use any paper or pen. Some people do it and they give it to a transcriber, but I didn't have a transcriber. And I used different tools actually to really transcribe it. I used the voice to text. My accent wasn't it. It was just writing rubbish. And I'm like, if I'm going to use time to speak out what I've written, and I'm going to use a lot of time, or maybe double the effort to now start editing, just as much, let me just start typing, right? So that's what I did. I typed, I got help with the typing. Oh my God, it was so tiring. I think I used almost 6 months to even do the typing. You can imagine. So all those time wasted. If I had accepted, I just think back, but I know that it was a lesson I need to learn, right? I was thinking that, okay, years later, I was thinking that if I had accepted that coaching offer, you know, all those things will have been dealt with, right? Because the person taking me, the coach, had gone through the same thing or something similar. I will have given me an hint or hints ahead, right? Fine. So I went it alone. I finished typing. And you know one thing? When I just like jump, I finished typing and no, I just wrote, right? And all those things about this, and I read books on how to do characters, round character, flat character, all those things. So I implemented them, of course. However, there are fundamental things that I needed to learn, yes, to make my writing sterling and to make it stand out. So my book was lacking that. And you know what? Then another mistake I made was throwing my manuscript without editing it first. Yes, self-edit. I was not thorough with the editing. When you're done with your first draft, don't just send it to a professional editor immediately. No, that is a no-no. You need to do a self-edit. And you have a lot of tools to use for that. I covered some of that in some of the life I did in the group. So some of you can go there on the guide tab in the group. Just check it out. There are some tools I mentioned them. So that was how I went. And to cut long story short, I found out that, and I was charged. When I sent it to a professional editor, right, she charged me. And it wasn't small money. I know I was still working, right? Well, it wasn't a big deal. I paid. Then it was as if it was over again. She was like, just taking me on the basics of writing fiction. Can you imagine that? Like, do you get? Because my manuscripts show that there are some things I still didn't understand when writing, right? So we went those two things. Then I paid the money, and I was like, at this point, we did some revisions on the book. And okay, I was done with her. I didn't want to go further with the copy editing. I just wanted to relax, okay? Let me just take time out for the book. So in that process, I talked about my book with another author that's written 20 books. Yes. So she said, I told her, should I send you my manuscript? She said, no, just tell me about what you wrote. What's your book about? You know, when someone asks you what your book about, and that person is an author and knows the onions and knows that I work, she will know where the issue is, right? So I start babbling. I start talking about the blah, my characters, what happened and everything. And she asked me, who is changing in the story? That was one hell of an aha moment for me. She asked me, yes, in this your story, who is changing? What's your intention? What's your point? Who is changing? And I said, is the woman. Okay, now let me give you just a brief context about the book. I started with, it didn't end as the taken for granted. Yes, that was not what I started with, right? So what I started with was called, working title was the inevitable, the inevitability, right? The inevitability, yeah, the inevitability was the name. Then there were two couples, wasn't one. So there were two couples. So one was like, the man, both men were schoolmates, but they eventually met, right, at the function. And one person was doing great, that's the woman. The other spouse, not so great, because she's not working as a professional. She's a trader. So, and the thing was that Amina, where I still use the name in Taking for Granted, was supposed to be the one changing, right? Because of the things surrounding our marriage. However, the way I wrote it, it was the husband that was changing. So when the author pointed it out to me, I said, ha, that was the missing link I was feeling. Because after even every editing with the editor and everything, there was this that feeling was there that I was missing something. I knew that this story was missing something, right? But I couldn't even lay my finger on it. So when we had this discussion, I was like, oh my, that was it. So she now told me, okay, unless I want to be writing from the point of view of the man, yes, I can write it this way. I said, no, I want to write from the point of view of the woman. Yeah. So we talked about, okay, how I could change it and everything. I was excited, yes, to go and change it. And when I got back, well, I realized that I thought I was going to use part of that 50,000 words that I've written earlier, right? On the inevitability. When I sat down to start going through it and using it, I found out, wow, it's going to be another huge effort on my part to start sieving through that manuscript, right? To pick up the scenes that I want to make use of in my new design. I'm like, no. I was so like down. I felt down. So I spoke with my editor. I told her that I don't feel like I can start again, because that's what it means. I have to start afresh. I said, no, I cannot start this again. I cannot dump a 50,000 plus words for like, that's like 2019, yes. You know, I started 2016 with this novel. I was writing and up to 2019. Early 2019, that's when this decision, I needed to make a decision. Then my editor, my new editor here, I got to meet her. Like she said, do I want to put out the best of my work out there, or just put out just any work with my name on it? Which do I want? You know, now the answer was like, I want to put my best work out there. And she said, okay, yeah, now you've got it, then you have to do the work. Oh my. Okay, then I decided, whatever is going to take me, I'm going to do this all over again. So I had to dump a 50,000 words manuscript. If you just can't imagine what 50,000 words mean, that's a full book, right? I had to just leave it and started afresh. And you know, and that takes me back again to that offer of coaching that I was given. That is now what I've come back to, right? And if I had taken that offer, I wouldn't have gone through this stress, right? However, I feel that I needed to go through this. Yeah, I needed to go through this phase so that I think appreciation, yes, I will appreciate it more. having a coach, right? And I will really see, yes, the effort, because it was like at a point, maybe I took it for granted, the gift I'm giving, right? So I needed to go through that process. So I'm happy, I'm glad that I went through it, because that's will really, it really gave me a starting point so that people, those that are new writers or want to be authors that want to write their book, that I will know what it is they are really going, that's really they're really going through as they write their book. So that was why I started 2019 again, a new manuscript, and I finished June 2019. And the end is history, as they say. I published Taken for Granted from the new manuscript I started in 2020, December 2020. So that's how you got Taken for Granted. And you see that journal, like, oh, wow, wow, wow. So why am I telling you the story? Yeah, it's important because even those writers, authors, best-selling authors that are written non-fiction, fiction, in any genre at all, there's a process they go through. You must go through the process if you want to have an amazing book that readers will read and appreciate you for. Okay, let me give you one thing, and that's something that make you brighten your day. When you get reviews from your readers, that brightens your, I mean, that gladdens your heart, that, oh, the hard work and everything was worth it. Yeah, this morning I woke up to a message on my Facebook Messenger. As a reader, she got my book during the promo, Eid promo. She told me that amazing, that she really enjoyed the book. Let me see if I can, let me just read a comment for you. So what do you think when you wake up to those kind of messages from your readers? You will feel so good that the work, yes, it was worth it all. That it was worth it, yes. So that's what I want you to know. If you've started your book, or if you're not started, you have intention of starting, that you need to put in the work, yes. But when you have someone that has done it, been there, has gone through it, has the knowledge to hold your hands through it all, it makes it easier, much, much easier. I'll tell you that. Yes, that's just basic truth. That's just it. If you don't want to take the years, yes, to get your book published, but if you want to take, okay, the length and everything, fine, you can go it alone, as I did. However, I believe that you don't want to waste effort, time, money that you could have just done within months and get everything done, right? So that's my story that I've got for you. Now, these things, there are a lot of things you need to get into perspective when you want to start writing your book. I know, yeah, some people say, you know, a book, and just write it, type it, and just dump it on Amazon or something, and I'll get people to read. No, no, no. It's not like that. If you want to have your book to be read, and you want to get money from it, you want to earn from it, yes, you have to do it the proper way. You have to get it done the proper way, no shortcut. So that's why I'm here, right? You know, have a lovely, lovely weekend. Bye-bye.